Hello, people of the interwebs. It's Chris, and I'm here with Higher Notion's first movie review. And today I'm going to be reviewing James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Is this movie to die for? We'll find out. And please, don't die while watching this movie. Well, 2021's The Suicide Squad. It's a superhero team-up film from DC Comics, DC Films, Warner Brothers, and it's part of the DCEU, which was started by 2013's Man of Steel. And this film is directed by James Gunn, and he also wrote it. And it stars Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Joel Kinnaman, Sylvester Stallone as the voice of King Shark, Viola Davis, David Dastmalchian, and plenty of other actors. And I apologize to the actors if I'm missing any. But yeah, so this movie came out on August 5th. It was simultaneously released on HBO Max and in theaters due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm going to give some backstory into before I get into my thoughts of the film. Yeah, so the original, this is kind of like a kinda sequel, kinda soft reboot from 2016's Suicide Squad, minus the. And that one was directed by David Ayer, and it made a lot of money. I think it made close to $800 million. Forgive me for those numbers, but it made a lot of money, and it warranted a sequel. But as far as the development for the sequel, kind of went through a lot of different directors and writers in the 5 years that since the last film. David Ayer, I guess initially he was supposed to come back for the sequel, but then he chose to do another film within the DC universe, but that never ended up happening. So I think they wanted Mel Gibson. He was like a candidate for directing, and that was kind of like controversial at the time because, Mel Gibson was still kind of frowned upon for, those remarks he said a long time ago. But yeah, they thought about hiring him to do the film, but they ended up settling with Gavin O'Connor. And Gavin O'Connor, he's, I think, directed Warrior and The Accountant with Ben Affleck. But yeah, he was hired, and then I guess they parted ways due to creative differences, and then I remember some dude named Todd something came on to write the scripts as well. But following the controversial time when Gunn was fired from Disney due to like old tweets he put out, and they fired him off doing the next Guardians movie. And during that time, Warner Brothers just courted him essentially, and they gave him like any character he wanted. I think they even tried to get him to do a Superman movie, but he chose to do the Suicide Squad. And it's just, for what the kind of writer and director James Gunn is, that he would be able to make it work, that dynamic with a bunch of ragtagged individuals that come from different backgrounds, get them on a team, and then do a mission or whatever. He did that successfully with the Guardians movies, and personally I like the first Guardians over the second one. But yeah, that's pretty much how this movie was made. And then they released I think this film was shot right before the pandemic, and it was, I think, originally scheduled for August release, and it never changed, even with the pandemic. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the background of this film. So here are my thoughts, and I'm gonna try to keep it with minimum spoilers, and if I do get into spoilers, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, I love this film. I think this is my favorite. It's not the best film, but I think it's personally my favorite film of 2021, man. Like, I think this is a better movie than Guardians 2, and I'm not sure if it's better than the first Guardians, but it might be rivaled to me, because just for everything, it's so James Gunn. Like, every choice that's made, that the characters make in this movie, and just the vision, you can tell is like the studio gave him the opportunity to tell the story he wanted to tell with these characters. And yeah, I loved it. I've seen it, as of this recording, I've seen it 3 times. I watched it twice on HBO Max, and once in theaters. I saw it in IMAX, and it was pretty cool. I got a free comic out of it. But yeah, so it's I loved it. It's not perfect, but the rewatchability is really high, and it's the humor, just the way it's shot, the cinematography, and James Gunn set out what he wanted to do, and the cast is great. So let's go over the cast. Yeah, so Margot Robbie comes back for her 3rd performance as Harley Quinn, and Idris Elba essentially plays the Deadshot role with Bloodsport. John Cena is Peacemaker. Again, Joel Kinnaman, Rick Flag returns, and Sylvester Stallone, as I mentioned, was the voice of King Shark, and I think Stephen Agee, who also had a separate role in the film as one of Amanda Waller's like underlings, but he did the mocap, like he was actually on set doing the mocap for King Shark. Oh, and by the way, the CGI for King Shark was incredible. Just overall, like, this CGI was incredible. Story made me laugh. It wasn't as, I mean, yeah, it's a really good story. The humor hit for me. With all the, it was just a weird movie in the best kind of way. And my one gripe is, I mean, it kind of it kind of drags on in the middle part with kind of Harley's scenes. I mean, don't get me wrong, Margot Robbie, phenomenal actress. She is Harley Quinn. Like, she is I can't imagine anybody else doing it, like, live action. But it's just, with her, I was just like, all right. With her scenes, I was just kind of, she gets separated from the group, and I just, they were fine, but overall, loved it. I really recommend everybody watch this film, because it didn't make a lot of money box office wise, and it's kind of I mean, we're in the middle of pandemic. It was made available if you had a HBO Max subscription, so that's going to take away from the box office. So, but I really hope they make another one, or at least James Gunn has the chance to do. I think they will work with him, and by they I mean Warner Brothers Films, and either their Walter Hamada, the head of DC Films, said that they want to bring James Gunn's back for future DC, whether it be shows or movies. And I mean, he's already done one. He filmed a Peacemaker. They're doing a Peacemaker TV series on HBO Max, so it's coming out in the beginning of 2021, or beginning of 2022. So, I mean, John Cena, he wasn't my favorite character, but hey, I love this movie, so I'll give it a chance. And but yeah, breakout performances again. Margot Robbie, Idris was good. Everybody. And the only critique I have for it is just there's some scenes with like intentional bird killing that didn't sit well with me because I love animals and and I just thought it was unnecessary. But other than that, I loved it. I give it an A minus. But yeah, go see this film and support it because bravo to James Gunn, Warner Brothers, all the actors, everybody who created this film, and I'm excited to see what happens next. So catch you later. Be well, and everybody stay safe. All right. Holy fuck.